He is a surprisingly competent guard. You know what, just skip that. You can skip that.
I'd want to skip it too.
You know, actually, now that I think about it, this area's music is not my favorite. I like the other tracks better.
It's a bit too... Somebody hyped the music composer up on coke before doing it.
It sounds a bit too goofy for me.
Yeah. It's a bit too sped up, it's a little bit too goofy.
I like the other tracks better.
Tone. It fits the tone of the game, but it doesn't fit the tone of the area. The other way around, sorry. It fits the tone of the area, but it doesn't fit the tone of the game.
It's still a decent track. It's just not the kind of track that I want to hear in this game. Then again, what kind of tracks would you like to hear in this kind of a game? That's a better question.
Nicki Minaj?
No. No.
K-Flex, wash your ass. That's what we need to hear in this game.
I would sing it, but
I've never heard that before, and I never want to. All I know is it's like Tariq Nasheed used to be a rapper called K-Flex, and his album was Wash Your Ass, and it's hilarious to me.
I would sing a little bit of that song, like the only bit that I know of, but that's illegal on YouTube because they don't like that word that they use in that song.
Oh yeah, and Tariq Nasheed does not like people using his name on YouTube.
Exactly. Now, since we have an opportunity, did you know that they're planning a very grandiose blind playthrough of Majora's Mask?
Fucking blind playthrough? Really?
Yeah, I've never played it before.
Oh damn! I'd love to be a part of that.
Oh boy. That would be difficult to set up, I imagine. Because the first person who called the shots for taking a spot on the commentaries is from California.
It all depends on when we do it. But I'd love to be a part of that because I actually really like Majora's Mask and know quite a bit about it. Majora's Mask is one of my favorite Zelda games, not because it's so dark and edgy, but because the characters are characters, everyone feels more human, everything feels more like a world than it did with Hyrule.
Well, it's gonna be a pain in the ass to set up the commentary then, because there's an American, a Mexican, and an Australian, and now a British immigrant who wants to do it. The time zones are gonna be up the ass with this one.
Oh, yeah. Somebody's gonna be having to get up at a weird hour. Probably me.
Probably you, yeah. And I also gonna need to find a good time to actually meet up for, cause I got a job.
Yeah, we'll work something out, man.
I'm pretty sure we will. But it is a playthrough that I want to do differently than other playthroughs. I want to do something different about it, but I haven't quite decided
Actually
what.
do a proper professional Let's Play, as opposed to a podcast with a game in the background?
No, I mean that's unavoidable. I was thinking maybe trying to bring one of the subscribers in for commentary that I know loves this game. I'm probably gonna try to reach out to this person. You know, there is a weird thing about this. You can actually shoot your boogers into this mouth.
Ew.
Why is this a thing?
Who knows?
Oh!
Why is this game a thing?
Why not?
I love that you just skipped probably a good 80% of the level there.
Fuck you guys. Fuck you. No, go away. Don't care. And not do another skip? Fuck that.
Speedrun tactics with Walter Richards.
For Boogerman of all things. And here's Pus Palace 4. That was Pus Palace 3?
Yeah.
Interesting. I thought it was 2.
I thought that one was supposed to be. I thought 2 was 3. And when it came Pus Palace 3, I'm like, oh, alright then.
But they're almost done with
Short
the
game.
Yeah, this
short games. We've only been recording a couple hours.
It is a relatively short game, and if you don't fuck up at all, you can beat it within the hour. But of course, the Odor Ant will pose an interesting challenge to you.
The Odor Ant.
Dare I say, the Odor Ant is the casual filter of this game?
No, I think the casual filter is just the overall setting of the game. It's gonna gross out a lot of people.
Thanks, game, for turning me around. Sometimes it does, man. It turns you around in this elevator.
Fucking dick.
I think it's a glitch. It doesn't happen all the time. Oi! What the fuck is an ogre doing in here?
Being an ogre.
Oh yeah, some of these enemies here are also discolored, but they're slightly brighter. Not all of them though, just the ogres and trolls seem to be discolored for some reason. Look at that.
Maybe it's not meant to represent anything, maybe it's just meant to be a differentiating thing.
Or it could be a glitch.
Knowing this is probably a glitch in the description. You can't fit this much into a single 4 meg cartridge without something going up.
Oh god, I shot a loogie into that.
And here he is! Booger Meister, what the fuck is that outfit? What the Jesus Christ is that outfit?
This is what happens when Mr. Proper gets corrupted.
What the fuck is that outfit?
If you pay close enough attention, you'll notice that he has all of the same moves as you, except twisted. He can do better farts, better belches, and he is the mother of all shit nuggets. Which are actually supposed to be booger droplets, but you know, shit nugget is more accurate.
And funnier.
You can also notice, if you pay close enough attention, that the gem in the portrait is a lot shinier than all the other gems we've seen. It's almost like it's an actual gem. It is.
Yeah, so that's where he stored it. He's actually stored it in a portrait.
And this is where I would put my gem that I stole, if I had it. Oh, Terminator time.
This is where I would put my magical MacGuffin. What the fuck?
He said, I'll be back. And he got flushed. And that's it.
Booger!
Seriously.
That's it? That was quick as shit.
I told you, man, the last boss fight is easier than all the others. Like Deodorant. Deodorant should have been the last one.
Deodorant gave you trouble. I was fully expecting to sit here for 20 minutes.
Yeah, but this is the credits. We won. We have restored peace to Earth and completely decimated Dimension Excrement.
I'd almost forgotten that's what it was called.
Don't worry, I'm here to remind you. No, I like
You're here to remind me of the excrement.
I like how among all of these doodads and contraptions, we have the common waste basket as the main component of this device.
Oh no, keep in mind, the common waste basket, if you actually look, that is, there are dots there, so that's not a name, that's an acronym.
Oh shit.
That means that actually stands for something.
Also,
what does it stand for?
I have no idea. There is something interesting though. You may remember in the beginning that Boogerman ran into the toilet to change into, well, wait a minute, Lil Gangster credits? What? Anyway, you'll remember that in
Okay, 1 second. Gabby Payne, director of animation, you guys and the character animators, holy shit did you do a good job.
Amazing job.
Seriously. So what happens if you go in the men's room here?
Character cleanup. What cleanup? But
No,
yeah.
they're just the ones who made deodorant.
But yeah, you may remember that in the opening cutscene, Snotty Ragsdale went into the men's bathroom to change into Boogerman. Well, if you do it here,
what's his name?
if you do it here, you will take a shit and change back to Snotty Ragsdale. Oh look, Matt Furnace.
What happens if you go out the left?
The music was done by Matt Furnace. You will remember this name because he's literally in every Sega game.
Man was prolific.
Special thanks to
and
you.
to you.
In special red goo.
I love it when games have "and you" in the special thanks.
Let me change back to Boogerman. Because Snotty Ragsdale can only wash. Oh shit, I'm not allowed. What's he gonna do? He's going home! Where the fuck are you going?
When it comes for you.
What was that? He doesn't do that.
I have no idea.
He was supposed to change. Oh well. There actually is a sequence of secret credits, but that is only unlocked through a Game Genie code, I think. Let's see if we can find it. Press up, down, left, right, CBA. Then press up and down to select any level. And yeah, here we are. This is the level select. A lot less effort than the actual game. Sewer City level 16? What the fuck? Oh damn!
Nice.
That's a lot of sewer cities! Anyway, what was that? The Pit bonus.
Oh? Go there. Let's find out what the heck that is.
Okay. The Pit's bonus. Oh, it's this thing.
Oh, okay. So that's what that looks like. That was anticlimactic.
Oh, you can go back to deodorant.
Just what we need to do.
Oh, here we go. Ending 2. So if you go to ending 2 from the level select, you get this. It's slightly different. As in you have...
Are those the creators?
You have digitized sprites of the developers waving at you. With different music playing in the background.
Sure, why not? What do they change? To reflect old developers.
That's a good question. I don't know.
I don't think so. It doesn't seem to.
Can I at least change? Yes. Don't mind me, guys. I'm just here to clean.
No, I clean. Oh, sorry. I have a bunch of different codes here.
They're probably all for the free
none of
shit.
which.
Well,
I've got a free carrot. I don't know what that means.
that's a pepper, not a carrot, bastards.
It just says free carrot.
It's a pepper. Well, this is
But
literally
yeah,
it.
that was Boogerman.
This is all that there is to show about this. It's just a secret credit. That's neat. Let's speed up a
Jesus
bit.
Christ.
Let's see what happens
That's
after it
terrifying.
ends. You got no points. What the fuck are you doing here? Oh, nothing happens. Nothing at all. Nothing of interest. So there's no reason to ever see this. Okay. Well, I feel slightly...
Completion's sake.
I feel slightly less interested in ever seeing this again.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna say this, like, the game is quite good from a gameplay standpoint. It's very, very good from music standpoint, from sound design standpoint, from an animation design standpoint. The gameplay is very cookie cutter. The gameplay is every platformer that was out at the time, with like the only gimmick being the gross out factor of it being boogers and shit and snot and mucus and all the rest of it.
Oh yeah.
It's really its only selling point.
When it comes
like
to,
I said in the beginning, this is a game designed for 8-year-old boys and about no one else.
when it comes to gameplay, it's best described as another platforming mascot game.
But done well.
Yeah.
Still done very well.
Even if it didn't really go anywhere as a platforming mascot, it still went.
Thank God for that.
It still did fine. There's really nothing much to complain about, if anything.
The difficulty curve is about on par with what a platformer should be, with the final level being quite challenging. The bosses were a little bit all over the place, but bosses and platformers typically are. They typically follow the exact same pattern of just dodge, attack, chuck, booger. Like, I did notice that was basically the only way you dealt with all of them.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty bog standard platformer, but keep in mind, like, we're not using the term bog standard platformer as an insult. Even the standardized...
Don't you mean a booger standard platformer?
Die!
No, please.
We're not using it as an insult. Even back in the day of, like, the early to mid 90s, the bog standard, quote unquote, platform was still very competently done. Like, this wasn't something that you could just crank out and sell for $40. You actually had to be reasonably competent. Don't get me wrong, there were still teeming hordes of shit, but even, like, some of the worst platformers were still, like, had decent design at some point in time. This is a good example of that. It's quite good, it's tightly designed, it's short enough that you could probably plonk it down in front of your little slot bag for, like, probably a good couple of days before they get bored shitless of it. And while the theme is a little off-putting for some people, myself included, it sticks to the theme pretty damn well, and works within it to create a decent game. I'm actually like pleasantly surprised at how this turned out. I was expecting to rip it to pieces, but no, it's actually very competently designed. Surprising.
I would say it is a solid experience, but boogers aren't solid.
A gel-like consistency of experience.
With incredible depth for world building and lore.
Primarily done by us.
I mean,
Boogerman, if you ever want to actually develop a world for your characters, get at us, you know? Add us on Twitter.
I mean, we're probably just overanalyzing the whole thing, but fuck it, why not?
I still love the idea of giant glacial boogers. It's never not going to be hilarious to me.
Make it an SCP.
The giant glacial booger.
Somebody probably done it already.
Probably.
So final thoughts. How do you feel about this game?
When I first, like, keep in mind, I heard about Boogerman. Like, Walder's mentioned it a couple of times. He said he wanted to redo it. I didn't know that's what we were doing today. So I got dragged into this not knowing, and I stand by what I said. It's a very competently designed game, but the premise is that of it wouldn't appeal to anyone other than 8-year-olds and people with the mentality of such.
You say what to me?
I genuinely think if the group who created this Interplay got back together and made a sequel, that I would probably pick it up, or at the very least look into it, because, as I said, this is a very, very competently designed game. Like, at no point were the deaths ever the fault of the game. They were very clearly the fault of the player, which a lot of platformers still have issues with. Let me tell you that much for nothing. A lot of times you hit a platformer, you die, and you're just like, what the fuck even killed me there?
Yep.
But it's very tightly designed. The gameplay seemed like to go on a reasonably good challenge level, deodorant notwithstanding. And no joke, I'd probably pick this up. If they made a sequel to it, I'd probably pick it up. Because it's clear that they know how to make a game.
Mm-hmm. I would definitely pick up a sequel if it ever showed up. I actually got the chance to grow up with this game and I liked it. It's a shame that I traded in the cartridge for some other game that was never as good as this, in my opinion. I just forget which one it was. It was either Gargoyles or Superman. And I sure hope it wasn't Gargoyles.
Superman.
I sure hope it wasn't Gargoyles, because Gargoyles was actually good.
You traded it in for Superman 64.
No, it was Superman for Genesis.
Oh.
Oh. I mean, that game is made by Sunsoft. It's good. But fuck me is it hard. Like, it's impossible to beat it without cheats. I can't do it. I have a playthrough of it. But I don't remember which game I traded this in for. It was either Gargoyles or Superman, and either one of them back then were just too tough for me. I couldn't beat them at all. And I just thought that it was garbage. I never got the cart back after that. Because it just disappeared from the store that I traded it in. Really sucks, because I forever missed this game up until I realized there's emulators. I think this was one of the first games that I played once I found an emulator to work with.
I'm surprised you remembered it, frankly.
Well, it's kinda hard to forget it. I mean, I'm
genuinely surprised by how competently done the game is, though. Like, seriously, props to the devs.
I mean, this isn't called Jumpy Man with Gross Leakage. It's Boogerman, a pick and flick adventure. Trademark.
Jesus. That fucking name. I really hope they never did scratch and sniff discs. Those were terrible. A thing. I'm not kidding, those were a thing. I never want to smell one based on this game.
It would smell.
Ever.
It would probably smell something to the effect of that Boogerman commercial. Yes, there is a commercial.
I'm genuinely kind of surprised that their Kickstarter failed. Like, I get the game probably didn't sell a whole bunch given its target demographic, but I'm still kind of just going, you know what, this was very well designed. They stuck to the theme. There was a reasonable amount of, like, background, not exactly like background world building, but there's a reasonable stuff going on in the background that you kind of have fun, like, just narking on and come up with stupid theories. I'm genuinely surprised they didn't make more than 40 grand on Kickstarter.
I think the problem for their Kickstarter was that they strayed a little too far from what made the original good. I didn't get to see much of it besides the art style, and the art style was, well, pretty damn good. It just didn't feel like the same game anymore. It was a lot different than what I've experienced myself both today and before. It was vastly different from what I remembered, and as such I didn't pay much attention to it. I just thought this was a thing, it's neat, and that's it. And I think a lot of people felt the same way, because it was just too different for its own good. Though there probably were different reasons why it failed. The main one, I imagine, was a lack of advertising. There wasn't much in the way of advertising for the Kickstarter. I've only heard of it once, and the next time I heard about it was when it was cancelled or something of the sort, when it failed. That's practically all I ever heard about the Kickstarter. But in regards to this game in particular, I would still say that this is a good game to pick up. It's not a particularly challenging one, besides the Odor Ant, of course.
Still love that name.
But, you know, it's a good entry-level game as well. It's got enough challenge for beginners, and for those who are already experienced, there's still something to see here. It's still got some stuff.
It's definitely a game to buy your child or your nephew or like whatever in order to get them into gaming, basically. Which was effectively what pretty much all games on the NES and the Genesis back in the day were. There wasn't any like serious games that you'd sit down and play for several hours. There were these short, quick experiences.
Mm-hmm. Until Landstalker and Shining Force showed up. Thanks, assholes. I'm probably gonna play Shining Force at some point. Just need to decide how to do it.
Badly. Play badly.
No, how to record it. But yeah, there's really not much to say about
If in
this.
doubt, buy a capture card.
Oh, fuck that. Yeah, there really isn't much to say about this game. It's good,
No.
and it shows it by itself, which I hate because it really makes it difficult to commentate on good games.
I think one of the major issues that means that we're having issues with it is a mid-90s platformer, and it's quite a bog standard version, as we said. It's very much not exactly cookie cutter, but the gameplay is the same as every other platformer. The theme, while novel for the first 5 minutes, it kind of has one joke, and it wears that joke out by the first couple of minutes, so the rest of it is just kind of, you're not thinking of the joke, you're not thinking of the booger idea, you're just thinking, okay, this is just a video game. And I think because of that, we're having issues discussing it because it is so...
It's pretty
bland
basic.
isn't the... Yeah, it's bland isn't what I'm looking for, but basic is more the word that I'm trying to think of. It's just that it is the default game.
It's an entry-level game. There's not much going on. But you know,
And
that's
entry-level
fine.
games back in the time were like this. That's good, don't get me wrong. It's not something I'd pay $40 for nowadays, but it is definitely something I'd probably pick up for like $5 on a Steam sale.
Yeah, it is fine as it is, and for what it is, but it's nothing too special. You probably wouldn't miss out much if you didn't pick it up, but if you got the opportunity, go for it. You're not gonna regret.
Maybe if you're particularly sensitive to bodily fluids.
Actually, I was going to say it's not a cookie cutter game, it's a cookie farther.
God damn it.
I mean,
Well, yeah,
it's
we're really not able to say all that much about it, just because it is like such an entry-level game.
still
It's one of those like rare examples where it's not got enough bad with it that we're able to go on and harp about it, but it's also not got enough good with it that we're able to just sit here and praise the game.
and
The
now
one thing I did genuinely like about it is the animation work is rock solid.
oh yeah. And now it's time to make some people mad. I think this
Oh,
game
dear.
is better than Sonic.
It's only a lot more tightly designed than Sonic, or at least the first few.
I feel there's just a bit more going on in the game. Not a whole lot,
Yeah.
but a bit more.
Sonic's trademark was always speed, but again, it's very much the entry-level game. Is after you get past the gimmick, you're kind of just left with a relatively standard platformer.
Unfortunately,
Same
now
thing
that I
with
mentioned
Mario
the
as
bloody
well.
bastard, that reminds me. I still gotta
That
finish.
guy's gonna come back and is like, anybody want to RP with me? No,
No, no.
get out, you fucking weirdo.
That's not what I was reminded of. What I was reminded of was that I still need to finish up with the classics. I still got a couple of games from the official Sonic Classic series, and I got a few fan games to check out, of which one of them is particularly interesting in both of its gameplay and the gay undertones.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. Hey, if you ever do Sonic, I think it's like Sonic Advance 3, I think was the one I had. I would love to join you for that one because that game was my jam as a child for so long.
I'm not sure that's going to happen, but we'll see.
Eventually you get bored of Genesis games and have to move to more modern stuff.
More like eventually I'll run out of Genesis games.
You'd be like, well, fuck, I've finished all the Genesis games, I don't really want to redo anything. Alright, let's move on to SNES games!
What should I record today? Oh, wait a minute. I got nothing left.
It's gonna be 2030 before you get anywhere near the N64 era, isn't it?
I already started it.
Even better.
I already started the N64. We already got Castlevania 64.
What I'm waiting for is you to catch up to like the Xbox 360 era, but that's probably not going to be until 2040. After the singularity has destroyed the universe, you're still just going to crank it out videos.
I will be putting them up on the quantum verse. A fucking internet
That was
successor.
no, stop it, Eddie, that was terrible.
But it is a successor to internet.
That was terrible.
No. Well, I suppose it will be terrible. Once it comes out. Anyway, so thank goodness we don't have any topics to talk about, because otherwise this part would go on for like 5 hours.
Like the other one we did.
Yes, thank you, Columns Free.
That guy from the Let's Play Discord's gonna get pissed at us again.
You know, we probably shouldn't be poking him. He might actually know this.
I doubt it. These videos are over 15 minutes long. He's not gonna click on them.
Oh, this doesn't fit with my standards. Why doesn't he do what I like? No. Anyway, so this was a quick-ish redo of Boogerman. About fucking time, really, because the previous playthrough was marred with all kinds of problems. Anyway, now that we've taken care of this, we can actually work towards Puzzle Quest and other things.
Ooh, that's gonna be an interesting one.
Unless, of course, I find something else to sidetrack with.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, I'll remind you about Puzzle Quest.
Oh, I bet you will, you bitch. I bet you will.
I'm gonna just go through my entire library of games and find every single pixel art retro style game and just have you do it. Let's play of it.
Sure, as long as it's not Owlboy.
I wasn't even thinking of Owlboy. That bad, huh?
It pisses me off. Anyway, so yeah, that was Boogerman. It was an okay. Deodorant is Bay. And I'm Walder Richards from DaGameTrain. With me was Tash the Cat as co-host. Thank you for watching, and we will catch you sometime for some other playthrough. I think it's gonna be Legacy of Darkness at this point.
You all have a very good day.
And remember, frolicking is the only way to traverse through Castlevania. See ya soon.
Definitely. Have a good night, everybody.